This looked like an empire falling apart, or maybe just the first chapter of something worse. Milwaukee finished 11th in the East. The playoffs never happened, and for a franchise with this much history, that's a hard fall. Trace the collapse back, and it starts with a strange call from the front office. They didn't tweak this roster. They purged it, stripped out the veterans who'd held the whole thing together for years. Start with the two names that matter most. Brook Lopez, the last wall standing in the paint for almost a decade, got sent to Los Angeles. Damian Lillard, the guy who used to own clutch time, went home to Portland. For years, this version of the Bucks had two real strengths, an offense that sat at the top of the league, and a paint defense that simply didn't move. The front office gave up both of those on purpose. They wanted mobility instead, versatility instead, and Myles Turner, in from Indiana, became the symbol of that shift. Think about what that trade actually changes. Lopez, 38 years old, played deep drop coverage, parked right at the rim. Turner's 30, and he covers a lot more ground, a mobile rim protector instead of a stationary one. Check the box score, and the swap looks like a win. Lopez averaged 3.6 rebounds a game. Turner's at 5.3. The individual number actually climbed. Step back from that one stat though, and a different story shows up. Lopez wasn't just grabbing his own boards. His drop coverage boxed bodies out and fed rebounds to everyone standing near him. Take that away, and the whole rebounding structure goes with it. Milwaukee finished dead last in the league on the glass. The front office's plan didn't just stumble once, it kept stumbling all season. Look at the wing rotation. Amir Coffey came in with real expectations, never fit the new system, and got traded to Phoenix mid-season. Cam Thomas, brought in to spark the offense, didn't even survive half a season before he was gone too. They tried filling the gap Lillard left with Gary Harris, but his scoring never moved the needle, so the load landed on two young guards instead. Ryan Rollins and Kevin Porter Jr. carried more offense than you'd want from players still this early in their careers. And here's the part that doesn't match the story Milwaukee's been telling. They kept Thanasis Antetokounmpo on the roster, then added Alex Antetokounmpo on top of him. A front office talking about a youth movement spent real roster spots managing Giannis's mood instead. That's a contradiction sitting right there in plain sight. Cutting the veterans was supposed to modernize this roster. Instead, it broke the chemistry holding it together. And that's the mess Taylor Jenkins inherits. A new head coach handed a rebuild before he's even coached a single game. Look at the stats on screen for a second. The top rows are league rank by category, pulled straight from NBA.com. The bottom row is something different. A combined rank built from an ability index. The one NBA SDB runs on the top 10 players on this roster. And the chart sitting in the middle is that same ability data turned to visual. What all of it points to is a front office that had an actual plan and watched it come apart. This year was supposed to be the pivot season. Milwaukee moved on from Damian Lillard early, swapped Brook Lopez out for Myles Turner at the 5, and pushed hard toward more mobility, more youth, more spacing. It read like a real go-for-it year. Then the season opened, and things went sideways fast. Giannis Antetokounmpo played in just 36 games. Perimeter defense around him had already broken down, and the workload he absorbed covering for it was never sustainable. Losing him as the tactical anchor shows up everywhere in the numbers. The starting 5 ranking drops from 13th to 25th. The combined value of the top 10 players slides from 14th to 21st. The macro numbers are brutal. Offensive rating falls from 10th to 24th. Defensive rating is worse, 12th all the way down to 26th. Net rating lands at 25th, within shouting distance of dead last in the league. Here's where it gets strange. Dig into the shooting numbers, and Milwaukee still looks like one of the better offenses in basketball. Effective field goal percentage holds at 3rd in the league. The team's overall three-point index climbs from 8th to 4th. Among the top 10 players, three-point shooting jumps from 8th to 2nd, and scoring ability moves from 5th to 4th. Both numbers sit in elite territory. So the shooting touch is real. The offensive rating, cratering to 24th anyway, traces back to one stat falling off a cliff: turnover rate, dropping from 5th in the league all the way to 25th. A 20-spot fall like that points to something specific. This team slowed down, pace rankings sliding from 14th to 23rd, settling into half-court basketball. And in that slower context, they kept giving possessions away before a shot ever went up. With fewer total possessions to work with, that habit cost them every single time. That same self-inflicted problem eats into a defense that was actually doing its job. Opponent points in the paint improved from 7th to 6th. Opponent's second chance points improve from 10th to 7th. Turner's rim protection is playing at an elite level. Rebounding among the top 10 players climbs from 24th to 17th, and that's the interior unit pulling its weight. A defensive rating crashing to 26th. On paper, that doesn't add up. It does once you trace it back to that same turnover number sitting at 25th. Live ball mistakes up front pushed opponent fast break points from 13th down to 17th. Build the best wall you want in the half court. Give possessions away and bleed points in transition on repeat, and no defense holds up. Elite shooting touch, a defense doing real work in the paint, and a roster that still came apart. Losing the best player for half the season, then losing the ball at a historic rate, did the rest. That gap between what the talent says and what the record says, that's the whole story, right there in one stat line. What's on screen now is play type data from NBA.com, possessions and efficiency, broken down by how Milwaukee actually scores. Light green is last season, dark green is this one. Line them up side by side, and you get a clear picture of just how warped this offense became. Start with the number that jumps out first. Spot up efficiency, PPP, points per possession, sits in the top 2 in the league. That's up from 4th a year ago. Volume on those plays nearly double too, jumping from 26th to 11th. With Giannis out for so long, defenses collapsed inward and left shooters alone on the perimeter. Turner made them pay at 1.07 points per possession. Portis hit 1.26. Prince landed at 1.24. Those numbers are pure, individual will. Here's the twist though. That same eye-popping stat is actually proof the offense was broken. Good spot-up shooting is supposed to come from movement, from defenses getting broken down first. This season, the backcourt couldn't break anything down, so possession stalled, and the shot clock forced the ball out to the perimeter for contested looks that shooters had to make on pure talent alone. The shots went in, but the broken process behind them, the missed reads, the late decisions, that's exactly what sent turnover rate crashing to 25th. And that same breakdown ended up tearing the defense apart from the inside too. Nowhere does this show up worse than in the pick and roll numbers. The screener's efficiency held at 5th this year, down only slightly from 3rd. Turner himself put up 1.12 points per possession as a roll man, genuinely elite production. The screener did his job. The problem sits with whoever's handling the ball. Handler efficiency on those same plays fell from 5th all the way to 25th. Trace that back, and it leads to 2 young guards having breakout seasons in name only, Kevin Porter Jr. and Ryan Rollins. Porter ran 8 possessions a game as the ball handler. Rollins ran 6.9. That's usage you'd expect from a star. The efficiency on those possessions wasn't close to star level. Both guys landed at 0.89 points per possession. As primary playmakers, they're still developing. Put plainly, neither one is functioning yet as a number 1 option for a contender. That same inexperience dragged down everything connected to it. Handoff efficiency, which led the entire league last season, dropped to 24th. Transition efficiency, the counterpunch stat, fell from 8th to 26th. Giving the ball away on their own mistakes. Failing to finish in transition when the lane is open. That's the real reason an offense built on elite shooting still sank to 24th in overall efficiency. Rollins and Porter, running the starting backcourt, they showed real growth this year, and that part's genuine. But hand the front office this data, and the read for next season gets a lot less forgiving. Keep them as the primary ball handlers, and the front office needs to see another jump from both. Treat that as too big a gamble, and bringing in a real point guard this offseason, someone who can actually control a game, stops being optional. These shooters proved what they can do with the ball in their hands. Turning that into wins means either the guy holding the ball changes, or the approach does. That's what these dark green numbers are saying, even without saying it out loud. This next chart stacks 3 layers on top of each other to track individual growth. Red for this season, pink for last season, blue marking the league average. Put those shapes together, and you get the real story behind Milwaukee's young backcourt. Down near the bottom of that chart sits a pink band. That's the top 50 in the league, the elite tier. The outer edge, marked in yellow, is the top 10, the absolute ceiling. Use 780 points on the player rating scale as the line for a real starter, and Taylor Jenkins handed the keys to a backcourt that's clearly shifting under him. Start with Ryan Rollins. His rating jumped more than 100 points this season, landing at 798, comfortably above that starter line. Build on what he did last year, and the changes show up everywhere. Defense ticked down slightly, sure, but rebounding, assists, and scoring all scaled up. Here's the real reason he broke out though. It's not any single stat, it's his PIE, his overall impact number, jumping the way it did. Playing 30+ minutes a night, with the offense running through him, and still showing up with that kind of performance from tip to final buzzer. That's what pushed his value up this fast. Now look at Kevin Porter Jr. He's sitting at 838 points this season. Steals lead the way on a defensive jump that's real across the board, and his assist numbers as a lead guard climbed right alongside it. The real story with him is a shift in what kind of player he is. Last season, the read on him was simple: above average defense, above average passing. This year, he didn't just keep that defensive edge, he sharpened it, and he brought his scoring, the one real hole in his game, up to above average too. That's the exact combination that's pushing him into elite starter territory. There's a catch though. His three-point shooting shrank, and that's the clear item on his to-do list heading into next year. Explosive passing, defense that's taken a real step forward, and a three-point shot that's gone backward. That's an unusual shape for a player profile, and it puts the front office in a real spot. Push these two guys to keep developing, or go get a true point guard from outside. However that gets answered shapes next season. Shift over to shooting guard now, the spot that's supposed to connect the offense and hold up the perimeter on defense. This is where the roster's emptiest, and the chart shows it without mercy. Set the bar at 720 points, the line you'd want even from a bench piece at this spot. Both of Milwaukee's main options here land well below it. Take Gary Trent Jr. first. Last season he sat at 714, right on the edge of clearing that line. This year he's down to 633. His three-point shot and scoring efficiency are still hanging just above league average, barely. Rebounding, defense, every other indicator drops below average. That's a real slump, on both ends. The other piece is Gary Harris, a veteran, and his number isn't any better, 599 points this season. He's got some real strengths in spots. Three-point shooting, passing, steals, that run above average too. There's still that veteran instinct for jumping a passing lane at the right moment. But his scoring efficiency and his overall defensive numbers sit below average, and on a limited role with limited minutes, that's about as far as his impact goes. Neither guy clearing that line together is the structural reason perimeter defense fell apart under Jenkins this year, and why the offense kept running into dead ends. Fixing that hole in the backcourt, rebuilding some kind of defensive floor there, that's the top item on the front office's list heading into next season. Small forward is next, the spot that's supposed to balance the offense and hold things together on both ends. With Milwaukee's wings right now, the shape on this chart tells you the team's leaning hard on two very different specialists. Start with Kyle Kuzma, the guy holding this position down. His rating this season comes in at 741. Assists were below average a year ago. Now they clear the league line, and the offensive numbers across the board, three-point shooting included, jumped right alongside it. Scoring efficiency and three-point accuracy both moved up too. Put that shape together, and it reads like a player who used to live off scoring and rebounding, now retooling himself into more of an all-around offensive hub to fit what this roster actually needs. Then there's the other piece at this spot, putting up a very different kind of number, AJ Green, sitting at 702. His profile is pure boom or bust. Most categories sit below league average. Three-point shooting is the one exception, and it's not a small one. 797.7 points there, planting him firmly among the best shooters in the entire league. That's a shape that looks like one thing and one thing only, a pure specialist, living proof of how committed this team is to the three ball. Kuzma reworking himself into a more complete playmaker, Green doing one thing at an elite level. Neither one brings the kind of all-around stability you'd want at this spot, but together, in their own lopsided way, they're holding the wing together. How well they cash in the space, Giannis tears open with his gravity. That's a real swing factor in whatever Jenkins is trying to build here. Power forward's where this gets heavy. This is where the season's biggest wound, losing the franchise guy for half the year, shows up loudest in the chart shapes. Start with the heartbeat of this team, Giannis Antetokounmpo. His overall rating this season sits at 892. That's down from a near unreal 958 a year ago, but it's still squarely elite, top of the league territory. He played just 36 games this season, sidelined by injury for long stretches, and somehow, what he did on the floor got even sharper. Scoring efficiency lands at 953.6. That's not just top 10, that's pushing well past it. His overall impact number stays in monster territory, and rebounding, assists both sit way above average. Here's the catch. His defensive line pulled back inward compared to last year's track, and that one shift says everything about what carrying this team alone on both ends actually cost him. Trying to cover for the gap he left, Bobby Portis put together a season that looks completely different. He's at 756 points, clearing the bar you'd want from a real rotation piece. His shape this year is almost the opposite of last year's. Defense and rebounding both dipped, and his three-point number exploded to 791.2, right up there with the best in the league. Scoring efficiency stretched out wide too. Add it up, and it's a guy who used to live in the post, now turned into a real stretch threat firing from outside. Giannis, still doing damage at an elite level, even running on fumes. Portis, sharpening his game into something completely different. Put those two extremes side by side, and that's the whole story of where this roster's balance and imbalance actually sits right now. Last spot to cover is center, the job that's about holding the paint and anchoring everything modern teams try to do defensively. Every other position on this roster has a hole in it. This one doesn't. It's the most reliable piece of the whole structure. Start with Myles Turner running things at the 5 for the first time this season. His rating comes in at 782, just above that 780 line you'd want from a real starter. And he's been the anchor on both ends. His overall impact actually outpaces what Brook Lopez gave this team a year ago. Look at defense and blocks specifically. 825 on defense, 704.1 on blocks. Both numbers sit in genuinely elite territory, top of the league. And he's not just a paint presence. His three-point number climbed to 615.1 this year. Protect the rim, step out and shoot it. That's the modern center profile, and it shows up as a wide, well-rounded shape on his chart. Behind him, Jericho Sims is doing the dirty work. His rating sits at 690 this season, short of the 720 target for a bench piece, but a real step up from 654 a year ago. His shape is the opposite of well-rounded. Three-point shooting and blocks sit below average. Rebounding doesn't, 723.4, well clear of the league mark. Scoring efficiency, a real weak spot before, has actually crept up to roughly average. Stick to the physical stuff inside, and that's enough to hold the second unit's interior together. Turner as the steady anchor, Sims doing one job and doing it well. Together, that's the position that kept this team from completely falling apart down low. Fix the holes out on the wing, and this interior duo only gets more valuable next season. What's emerged from breaking this season down, piece by piece, is a strange shape. World-class shooting, sitting right next to a foundation that gave way on turnovers and rebounding, and that gap is what kept this team out of the playoffs. Heading into this offseason, though, the job in front of the front office isn't hopeless. Look hard enough at what's already on this roster, and the pieces for getting back to the top of the East are there, even without $1 of cap space to work with. The biggest question by far is what happens with Giannis Antetokounmpo. People close to the situation are putting real odds on a surprise move, something in the 30 to 40% range, and teams like Miami and Boston are watching closely. Still, bringing in a coach like Taylor Jenkins and holding on to that 10th pick instead of trading it away sends Giannis a clear signal. This front office isn't waving the white flag. Keep Giannis healthy and on the floor, and the outlook flips fast. That turnover rate, sitting at 25th this season, Giannis pulling defenses toward him in the paint, is exactly the kind of gravity that fixes a problem like that on its own. Get him slicing through the lane and collapsing defenses toward the middle, and passing lanes open up wide for Rollins, for Porter, for Green. The load on the young guards drops fast, and that pick-and-roll handler efficiency that's been a real issue climbs right back up with it. Giannis, Portis, and Turner up front, with a backcourt that's already shown real signs of arriving. That's a roster that can compete for a title without spending $1 in free agency. The swing piece in that picture is Kyle Kuzma finding another level. He's sitting at 741 points this season. Push that past 780, the real starter threshold, and turn himself into the guy who finishes off the space Giannis creates. Get that, and the whole picture comes together clean. Lose Giannis, and a full teardown is the other path, and it forces this roster into exactly the kind of track meet it's built to lose right now. Take away the one player controlling the paint, and half-court offense stops being an option. The only path left is pushing pace and living in transition. Except, this team finished dead last in the league in transition efficiency this season. Pivoting in that direction means Jenkins is signing up for a long, genuinely painful rebuild, multiple years deep. Fine-tune this roster into a real contender, or blow it up and start over. Use that 10th pick to support what's already here. Or treat it as the first domino in a teardown. Whatever the front office decides next answers both questions at once, and it shapes everything that comes after it. So here's the actual question for you. Milwaukee's sitting with zero room under the cap. Do they hold on to Giannis and rush to add pieces around him? Or is this the moment to tear it down and build something younger, something built around speed and transition? That covers the breakdown for this one. If you got something out of this, a like and a subscribe go a long way. See you next time.